Hello and welcome to PaTTAN's Webcast series, Leaders and Learning in Literacy. My name is Dr. Pam Kastner, and I have the honor of serving as PaTTAN's lead consultant for literacy. In this webcast series, we speak with literacy experts across the field and practitioners so we can focus on evidence-aligned practices to share with the field. It is my distinct honor today to welcome Dr. Maria Murray and Dr. Heidi Beverine-Curry from the internationally recognized The Reading League. For those of you who are in the literacy field, it would be hard not to know about the Reading League and everything they've done to support the science of reading in the field. But today we're going to find out even more from the co-founder and the vice president of professional development. So welcome, Maria and Heidi. It's so nice to see you in your new headquarters.
Hi, Pam.
So good to see you. So for those few folks in the field that might not know about the Reading League, I thought we'd start out by, first of all, maybe giving a brief introduction about yourselves and some of your background, but then also, how did the Reading League become, how did it become? And then we're going to talk about how did it become what it is now.
Okay. So I guess
Go ahead and
I'll
start.
start, and I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible, but basically, myself, I can speak up to my own experiences, and Heidi can echo them, and other founding members can echo the same, that we were all very well aware of what methods or programs or aspects of reading instruction are deemed very effective. We've seen things that worked. Many of us, I would say almost 10 of us, got our doctorates at Syracuse University with Dr. Benita Blackman.
Mm-hmm.
So we cut our teeth on really good scientific aspects of reading, and we saw it work. And whatever we were doing in our fields, me as a professor, Heidi within a school district, we were able to make small progress, but we're very selfish, and we wanted grander, broader adoption of evidence-aligned practices, because it just was killing me. I always talk about this dark story of despair, that I had all these experiences seeing what worked, but never enough to move the needle. So you can publish a paper, but who's going to read it? You can go to a conference and talk for an hour. How is that going to help anything? And so on. Just everything I was doing was not really having any impact. So then David Kilpatrick's book came out, Essentials of
Assessing, preventing, overcoming.
Yeah.
Yes.
I ask him all the time who came up with that title. Too many ings on it.
Yeah, it is.
Doesn't really roll off the tongue, Dave.
It doesn't. But boy, what a powerhouse book. And it set the literacy world on fire, and even beyond that. Yes.
Yes. So I got chapter 1 in my belly at a time when I was giving up and just, and I called David, and I just said this to someone last night on an interview, that I live about 7 minutes that way, and David lives about 10 minutes that way. Here we are in the same city, and we would never have any reason to intersect until that book came along. And then I called Heidi, and I called all these people, and it dawned on me, whoa, I'm not really alone at all. There's a legion of people right here in Syracuse that know this stuff. So we decided, and I'll let you take it here about the 40 teachers would come.
Oh yeah. We all met, and we said, well, what can we do? Because it seems that, from Maria's perspective, Maria didn't work for years and years in a school district that was doing things that weren't particularly effective, whereas a lot of us had. Like, she mostly just knew about the scientific evidence base and those approaches to reading instruction which are most effective. And so it was nice to have the two perspectives. One of, well, this is pretty much what I know. Why is there this disconnect? Why is it happening? And then the other side, the other people at the table, when we first came together to meet and the Reading League was conceived, a lot of us at the table were saying how, well, we've been 20 years in the field, either, part of that time not knowing about the scientific research base. And then once we do know, having a really hard time having it get some traction in schools, because the existing cultures of literacy instruction were so strong and so deeply rooted, it was hard to make change. So, well, what can we do? Because we know that from our experience, when teachers do find out about it, they want to learn more.
Yeah.
It's just that systemic change that's very hard to come across, to accomplish. So we said, well, maybe we should just every other month have these sessions. We'll do them for free, and we'll see if maybe we can get a local grocery store chain to donate water, and Maria's mom can make cookies.
Yes, she makes great cookies.
Maybe 20, 30, 40 people will come just because they're curious. And wow, our first event had over 100 people. It was standing room only.
Wow.
In a snowstorm.
130.
And it was kind of magical that night. But then I, anyway, was like, well, they were curious. They saw it once, it's going to fade away, but it just kept growing and growing. The demand got bigger and bigger.
I think that audience of 130 was comprised of people from so many school districts that they went kind of peppered the talk of what this new thing is, and everyone's kind of looking for something. Everyone, I would say most teachers told us, we knew something wasn't right. And you just seemed very knowledgeable and trustable. So it just has blossomed. We've now had live events every other month. We just finished our 20th live event. You were one of our most popular speakers when you came up, Dr. Pam. Thank you.
And, it was my honor.
We've touched about 4,800 teachers.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
That was it.
I agree with you about that hunger part and that lack of just not knowing. I speak from a personal point of view, and I know you've done some wonderful videos talking about the journey that members have taken on the Reading League, but I was a kindergarten teacher for 18 years, and the science was never shared with me. In fact, the exact opposite was shared with me. And so there was always children that I had a lack of knowledge about what to do when they had reading challenges. And my undergrad, my reading certification, my national boards, none of that really prepared me for how to do that. And so, as you said, when you hear that, it's a hunger and a desire to know the evidence. And yet so often we don't have that opportunity. And I really think in many respects, that's what the Reading League is doing across the world. They are amplifying that message in places that it would probably never reach, so that questions are being asked, learning is taking place more so in the evidence, and practices are changing, and it's really a result of the Reading League. Your events are free and online on YouTube, so anyone can access them anywhere in the world, and they do. And so it's just I guess the journey for me, just watching, because I got to bond with you, Maria, over a session that you and Kristen Munger did on decodable text, a number of years ago, but just how much it resonated with me and resonates with others. But you've really become the international voice for the science of reading. And I guess it's just unbelievable what the pace of that and how much has changed, and the influence that you're having, and how well you're using that influence to make a difference.
It's very exciting. We get notifications every time somebody joins the Reading League. So it's really exciting. You hear the little ding and you look and it says, South Africa, Luxembourg. Last week we had somebody from Luxembourg. But you start to see little clusters. So there's been a lot of interest in South Africa lately, a lot of interest in New Zealand. We've had tremendous interest from Australia, and there's a growing population in Canada that is becoming really interested in learning about the science of reading through the Reading Leagues. We're very excited about our international allies.
When Maria was talking about when she was in that despair, and I know we've all felt that at some point, but I think really what you've built is a community, like an international community where people don't feel alone, right? So I think sometimes when we're learning the science of reading and we're in changing our practices, it's not always welcomed. And so oftentimes people feel like they are an island, and I've even seen some posts on Twitter that you responded to, Heidi, where people have really felt alone in this, the changes that they know need to be made so all kids learn to read. Like it's an equity, God-given right to read. And yet this knowledge has really been hidden for many, many decades. And in some cases, obfuscated in the sense where universities are not necessarily teaching it and sometimes teaching the opposite. So I think that your voice has really made a big difference in the science of reading. So thank you for that. So,
I appreciate that. And I just want to say, I think we're the perfect intersection of science and just grassroots activism, right?
yes. Yeah.
It's a unique thing that people find appealing and
Sure.
just
It is
drawn to.
it is the social justice issue.
It is a social justice issue. I agree with you.
It is the social justice
Yes.
issue.
Last week I was on a panel in the Center for Urban Education alongside, and their main thing was the school to prison pipeline. And one of the speakers was an African American man who had dyslexia, who did not have evidence-based science, practices in his instruction, became a drug dealer, and many other bad things happened, and just talked about what a difference his life would have had if someone in that classroom had known the science of reading, had taught him how to read. So truly, it is a social justice issue. It is an equity issue. So you've grown so fast. What kind of obstacles have you had to overcome to be where you are? Because obviously, just the pace has to have been, I know you're probably working 24/7, but in addition to that, what are some obstacles that you had to overcome?
Well, it's always a balance between supply and demand. We grew from what just Heidi said, like we think 30 teachers will come. Boom, now hundreds are coming, and the wait list is always a couple hundred teachers that want to come.
Mm-hmm.
We have the conference, and then we have professional development that we're doing in multiple schools.
And then schools want reading league coaches. That's
Yes.
another thing that we do locally.
We have a team of coaches that we're constantly trying to build. So it's always a very deliberate growth. We've all shifted from our prior roles, me as a professor, to now running this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a learning curve for all of us, a learning curve of
For
joy.
sure.
It doesn't feel like work. Like you were in here both days on the weekend working, and I was here until 10 last night. We just love it here. But we have to find more of us and build more of us. So that's what we're working on now. Well, what you're seeing this room this is what the room where we do all of our thinking and planning.
Mm-hmm.
So we have our core group of employees that are here every week, and that's one of the topics that comes up. How can we get more people who already know this to come here full time, join us, and also build people's knowledge and send it out. So we have a national director now. Her name's Laura Stewart, and she's based in the Illinois area, Chicago area, and so she's really helping us on the national level.
So, I mean, as far as obstacles, I don't know that it's an obstacle, but it's more of a challenge or a learning curve. Like, we've always worked in institutions of education, whereas now we need to learn more about organizational structure and nonprofit management and business and So these are all new frontiers for us.
So your brains are really growing, that's for sure.
Oh yes, we're learning every day, because one of my best jokes about this whole enterprise is that I applied for nonprofit status for the Reading League because it made sense to not want to pay sales tax on something, right?
Yes, yeah.
I had no idea that intertwined with nonprofit organizations was a board of directors, and and someone said, your board of directors is all reading experts, and I proudly, I'm glad you noticed. You need more than that. Okay.
Well, and if we had video of our early board meetings versus the board meetings we have now.
Yeah. It is really amazing where you've come. And so just want to give people a little bit of information if they don't know about the resources. Like we talked about the YouTube channel where they can see the live events. You also post the conference attendees, their presenters, those are there. You have an amazing knowledge base, access to research and resources on the science of reading on your website. But is there anything you want to highlight that you presently have? And then we'll talk about what's coming up.
Well, probably the most popular item on our knowledge base is linking out to our YouTube channel, as you've mentioned. And also we have a list of vendors for decodable texts.
Yes, that's very
that
popular.
We update regularly, because that seems to be one of the practical concerns that we run into once folks start learning about early reading instruction and matching text to the skills. And folks say, well, we have all these level texts, but we don't have decodable text. Where can we get that? So we have an interactive PDF, right, that links right to our page. And when you click on each one, it'll link to the place of purchase.
Yeah.
So
I know that you have some things upcoming, some things you can't share yet, but what are some things that are on the horizon for the Reading League that you can share? And I know you can maybe give a teaser for mid-September with some work that you're doing with Dave Kilpatrick.
Yeah. Right. So we have a big announcement. Currently, it's free to be a member of the Reading League, and it always will be. So it's a great way for people to keep involved with what's happening. Anyone and everyone should join the Reading League. Another thing that I'm really proud of about it is that we are constituted by professors, practitioners, administrators, school psychologists. Tomorrow we have a visit from speech and language
specialist. Oh yes, Asha.
Asha, and so anyone and any parents, you name it. I could name 20 more, but you get the idea that the Reading League consists of anyone people who are working on the standards, people working on curriculum, people working on legislation. We're now starting to become alliance partners.
Yes, I saw Decoding California, Decoding, yes, Maryland.
Yeah, so we're going to be reaching, we've got contact by many decoding dyslexia groups that we have to follow up on. There will be a lot more of those. So we're really, and I think in a few years from now, hoping to really have a way to reach out and discuss and collaborate with all factions in this country to really be the one, I keep saying really, to finally have some, motivation to everyone come together. And
so that cohesiveness of everyone, going in the same direction. Yeah, because I think there's so many organizations that are advocating similar, but we're not speaking with one voice.
Right.
So this is a way for us to speak with one voice.
Megaphone piece aspect. And then we, so it is free to be a member right now, but we will offer a paid membership. Sometime in the fall, we'll be announcing that, and we'll be announcing what you get as a result of that paid membership. There will be a few things. We have outside there marketing and development director who has trained us on how to be deliberate in our announcements.
We just want to tell everybody everything.
There you go.
We want to share it all, but there's got to be a deliberateness so it's successful. And so stay tuned for that very soon.
And we have our conference coming up, our third annual conference. It's going to be very exciting. We have some spectacular presenters. All of our presenters are spectacular. Yeah, it is true.
It is true. I think you are the conference.
Our keynote speakers are a really big attraction this year.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, we have Dr. Marianne Wolf, who wrote Proust and the Squid, and then when we were at your PaTTAN conference a year ago, June.
Yes.
We sat, and this is kind of how the Reading League works, right? We sat around the table, and Marianne Wolf was a few feet from us, and she was holding our friend's baby, and we said,
"That's Marianne Wolf, so genuine."
She'll do the keynote like right now while she's happy and bouncing a baby around.
Yes.
We got to strike while the iron's hot.
That's right.
Yeah, we got her.
She's amazing.
She is absolutely wonderful, and her, the Proust and the Squid book is really an important seminal work. And then her follow-up book, Reader Come Home, is fantastic. And I think it's really going to resonate with, her address and the book are really going to resonate with teachers who are having questions about what all of this computer-based reading instruction and computer-based literacy assessment means.
Right. And the impact it has on the reading brain.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So they're going to be very interested in that. And then also when Emily Hanford's audio documentary, Hard Words, broke earlier in the fall, it was right before our last conference. We knew that was going to be really important, that was going to be just a megaphone for our mission.
And it has been. It's resonated across the world and well beyond the education literacy community. New York Times op-ed and what have you. She really has brought this, to the forefront of the general public and brought it into conversation. So it's so exciting to have her at your conference.
Yeah, we reached out to her right away and knew that she was going to be an important ally in this movement and secured her as a keynote speaker. So it is going to be a fantastic conference.
And it always is. So that's October 17th and 18th. So if you haven't registered yet, I know there's limited availability, so you should register soon, yes? Because I know it fills up very, very quickly and then it's sold out.
It's going to sell out soon. We're seeing it already. In the last few days, it's starting to really pick up for some reason. So
we've already oversold last year's conference by quite a bit.
Oh, and you were filled up you were filling quickly. I know that right from the get-go.
We were filled up for last year's conference pretty quickly. So our first conference had 260 people.
I know at PaTTAN we work around when the conference is going to be, because we don't schedule anything for literacy around that time, because we're like, we're all going to the Reading League. We cannot miss that. It's a do not miss for sure.
Love PaTTAN.
Thank you.
Neighbors to the south.
So another thing I know I'm going to get asked about is, I know you're doing affiliates, but will you ever do maybe like branches of or chapters of the Reading League? Because I always thought like, oh, Pennsylvania, yes we will. PaTTAN will do that.
So we're going to be talking to you soon about that. We would love to have that happen there. So that can happen. That's kind of what an affiliate would be.
Yes.
Like
okay.
A chapter.
Yeah. It's really exciting.
Yeah, there's an affiliation agreement we have, what it would entail and what it would mean for a group to form a reading league, because there's been a lot of interest in that. Mm-hmm. And at first we thought that would be something we do down the road, but it's already starting to take place.
Yeah. Well, I think the demand's just there.
Yeah.
It is. It's truly an amazing journey. It is. And I know with you two leading it, it's just the beginning. And I know I was having dinner the other night with someone, we were talking about the Reading League, and one of the main topics of our conversation was both you and Heidi, how authentic and genuine you are, and how selfless you are in terms of really spreading that mission and going anywhere and doing anything to support the science of reading, and how grateful we are that you do that. But we really appreciate your authenticity.
That's
You're one of us, Pam.
I know, but I'm really speaking about you right now. So
I want to know how many miles you put on your car.
A lot. All right, so do you want to just tell a little bit about your headquarters? Because you're in new headquarters now. It's really exciting. Do you want to share a little bit about that? I know you're having an open house, and then we'll just do a little closing.
Okay. So we're just, we're sitting in it, and we're in a area of the city of Syracuse. I wish I could turn the camera. We're looking out, right, we're in an old building that was used to be a factory in the industrial era of this Syracuse, and we're in the same building as WCNY, the big PBS. It pushes out to 9 different stations and millions of people every day, so it's kind of cool to be there. And the building is also pro-literacy, an international literacy organization, mostly focused with adult education. But this is, we went from my house, which was
I remember
packed, from garage to bedrooms to breezeways to basements, everything, and we crammed around my kitchen table for a few years, and now we have this expansive room. We have right behind this wall is a teacher training room. Right behind that wall is a theater that we can have our live events in.
So exciting.
A boardroom, an office, a wide open concept of everyone just sharing their thoughts. And
the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
The sky is the limit.
It's really exciting.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Can't wait for you to come see it.
Yeah, I saw it when it was under construction, but I can't wait to come see it when it's
Oh yeah, you did. That's right.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun.
A little different now.
A little bit.
A little bit. So is there anything I didn't ask you that you would really like? First, let's just say there's 1 or 2 people that haven't heard of the Reading League. Is there anything else that you really think they should know about the Reading League?
We would probably just say, go to our website, and on the homepage there are 2 videos. One is a roundtable discussion. It has a bunch of us talking about why we formed and how we formed. And then there's another video about our work with a local school, the Linkport School. And that talks about what we do once we have made a relationship with a school and start working in there. So we aren't in that video. It's all of the school personnel and kids talking about their experiences with the Reading League.
Yeah, so that site's www.thereadingleague.org, and of course, please don't miss their YouTube channel with all the live events as well as the conference presenters. That is free professional development in the science of reading, and so we're very grateful for you to providing that to us. Thank you for joining me for this Leaders and Learning webcast. I really and truly grateful to you, and thank you so much for the work you're doing for the science of reading.
It's been an honor, Pam. Thanks a bunch.
Thank you.
We love you, Pam. Thank
Love you too. And thanks to our producer, John Ragsdale, for producing this webcast and for all the webcasts he produces. We look forward to seeing you in the next Leaders and Learning webcast series for PaTTAN. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.